Hi, this is Aditya and welcome to Sankham MarTech channel. In this video, we are going to create a new component and then we are going to add variety of touch UI fields on that particular component. So we are going to add multi-valued fields, text fields, number fields, password fields, color picker, date picker, and variety of the fields we are going to add on that particular component. And then we are also going to see how we can access each of these data types values in HTL code. This video is part of AEM tutorials for beginners playlist, the link for which I'll give it out in the description box. Please check it out if you are interested. And please do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Let's get started with the presentation. I'm going to divide this entire video into 3 parts, otherwise this will become lengthier. In my first video, I will show you how to use the global objects and print these 3 things. Okay, and in my second video, I will show you how to create this dialog box and how to access this dialog box in the HTL code. Okay, and in my third video, I am going to show you about multi-valued fields and rich text fields. Okay, what are the different types of multi-valued fields also I will show it to you. So let's start off with this first part, which is accessing the global variables. So the first thing which I need to do is I need to create a component. Okay, so I'll just go into this weekend folder, which is my project folder, and then here I'll create a new component. Okay, so instead of creating the component from the scratch, what I'll always do is I'll copy paste the existing component from the core components. Okay, apps, core, WCM components. So see whatever is the existing component which you would like to copy. So you can copy basically any component, but I generally use the title component. Okay, so I came here into my project folder and I would just paste this. Okay, and then I'll just change this component name to profile. Okay, so this is my component now, and this is the component which I wanted to develop now. So since I copy pasted this component from the existing component, all these dialog box fields, whatever is there in the core components will come up here. So I need not do all this from the scratch. Okay, so how to create this dialog box from the scratch I have already explained in my previous video. You can refer to that if you want. I'll leave the link in the description box. Okay, so now what we need to do. So first thing is we need to access this page title. So for that what we need to do is we just need to add the code in our HTML component. Okay, so see this component name is profile. So we need to use the same name here for that code, corresponding code to get picked up, or else it doesn't know what code to execute. Okay, so here I have the profile as the node name. So with the same node name, I will create one HTML file. Okay, so then this HTML file will get picked up by the Sling. Okay, so now I just have to open this. I'll remove whatever code is already existing. Okay, so then I'll put some h1. Okay, so first always make sure you are testing that component. Okay, so I'll just say a profile page. Okay, I just hard coded this and I will add this onto the page and I will see if this will work or not. Okay, so now if I just go into here, I'll just refresh this page and I'll just find for this. Okay, my component. So I am not getting the profile component here. I am getting some profile train component, but not the actual profile component, right? So why are we not getting it? Okay, so if I just go back to here, okay, so whenever we copy paste, right, if we go into this profile node, there are 2 things which we need to take care. Okay, one is the title. This title indicates with what name it should get displayed here. Like if I click on new, right, these names, whatever we are seeing here, these names are coming from this JCR title. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I need to change this title to profile. Okay, so this is the first change I'll do. And the second change is this component group. Okay, so if we go back to here, so this is the component group, weekend.content. Okay, so all these things belongs to this particular group. Okay, so if I want to show my new component also under this group, then I'll have to give the same component group name. Okay, so what I'll do, I will copy paste the component group name. Okay, so maybe from here I'll copy paste it, weekend.content. Okay, so these two changes we need to do in order for the component to appear in that new components dialog box, in this dialog box. Okay, so one is component group and second thing is JCR title. Okay, now let's refresh our page and see. Okay, so now I will add this component and I will again search for profile. Okay, so now we are able to see that component with the name, this JCR title name. Okay, and since we have added in this component group, we are able to see this profile component in this component group. Okay, so now if I click on this, the component get added and I got this H1. Whatever I have given the H1 here, I got it here. So the first step, which is the creation of the component, is done properly. Okay, so now we have to go and see how we can add this page title, right? So now let's go back to our this documentation wherein these HTL global objects are documented. Okay, so here we need to see how can I get the page title. Okay, so the requirement is to get the page title, right? So how can I get the page title? That is what we need to see now. Now if I scroll down here, so these are all the out of the box variable names which I can directly use them in the HTML code. Okay, so these are all global objects. It is like a global variable. I can directly give this name and Slightly knows or Sling knows how to interpret this. Okay, so now in this first column, whatever you are seeing, this variable name, right? In this first column, whatever you are seeing is the actual variable name which you can use. Okay, but what is this variable name? What object it is? Okay, that class name is given in the description here. For example, if you want to use current page, okay, so then what is the data type of this current page is given here. Okay, what is the variable name you can use is this, and what is its data type is this. So now in order to get the page title, maybe we can use the current page, because where is this page title? Okay, so if I just open this properties, right? If I go to this page properties, inside this page properties, I will have something called as page title. So here there is title, okay, but if you scroll down here, I have something also called as page title. Okay, so this is what is page title. Okay, so now I want to access this. So this is part of what? This is part of page properties, right? So maybe if I access this current page object, then maybe there is a way for me to get that page title, right? So how do I know like how to access that page title? So all we need to do is we need to go to this particular class and see this particular class description. Okay, so how do I know what is the class description, what are the variables in this class and what are the methods in this class? How do I know that? Okay, if I just Google this out, right? Okay, so if I just Google this out, I will get the documentation for it. Okay, so if I just open this, so here is the class description, right? So if you scroll down here, it defines all the methods, whatever you have as part of this particular class, right? This particular page class, what all methods you have, that is documented here. Now if you just keep on scrolling down, you get one of the method which is get page title. Okay, so now you have this page class. Okay, inside this page class there is a method for you to get this page title, right? So maybe you can use this method and get the page title, right? So in order to access this page class, what is the variable which is given to you? That is here. Okay, so now this is the variable name you can use in Slightly. Okay, and this variable name is dependent on this particular class, and this particular class has a function or has a method which enables you to get the page title. Okay, so now using this particular variable, you are going to access that particular method to get the page title. So this is what we are going to do now. So to access any of the global variable or any of the AEM Slightly variables, you first need to give this syntax. You need to wrap it around dollar and this flower brackets. Okay, inside this you need to use the variable for the current page. What is the variable name? It is given here, current page. So we just copy paste here. okay, currentPage dot. Now we need to access this method get page title, right? So how do we access it? So first thing is you need to copy here and paste this method here. Okay, so this is the first thing. Then the second thing which you need to do is you just need to remove this get, and this P, if you see here, it is caps. You just need to make it small. Okay, and at the end you need to remove the parenthesis. Okay, so if you put your syntax like this, then what happens is you will be able to access this particular method. Okay, so now whenever it is seeing this code, what is the Sling framework doing internally is it will convert this entire code into the Java code like this. Okay, it will say page object current page equal to new page object. Okay, and then it will import this page object. Import first the page object. Okay, this is the page object, right? This is the page class. Okay, so import the page class first, and then you create a new variable current page, okay, which consists of the page. Okay, so this is how this entire thing will get converted. Okay, so now you have to access page title, right? So now, so this is how internally it understands. Okay, so whatever syntax you have given here, right? So this is how it will get converted. Okay, all this is not shown to us. Okay, all we need to do is just give this simple line. But how is it interpreting that? Okay, first it imports the page object, then it creates a new page object with this current page, and then using that current page variable, it will access that method. Okay, so if it is pure Java, you will give the method call like this, right? But the same method call, if you have to do it using slightly, you will do it like this. You will remove this get, you will convert this first letter to small, and then you will remove this parenthesis. This is the syntax to access any method using cyclic code. Okay, so now let's see how it works. Okay, so if I just go into this page and if I just refresh this now, nothing is coming up here. It is because we haven't given any of the value in the page title. So now what we'll do is we'll go to the page properties and we will add some value in the page title. Okay, so here we will add the page title. So we'll add Aditya profile. Okay, so now if I save and close this, now if I just add the profile component, so now you got this. Okay, so just by giving this current page.page title, what happened is, what is our current page? That got injected into this current page variable. Okay, so then this current page is based upon this particular class. So in this particular class, you have this page title method. So this page title method will return you this page title. Okay, so that's how you are getting this page title. Okay. So next thing is we need to access what is the current resource. Okay, so what is the resource? So let's do one thing. So if you just go to this global variables, right? So if you scroll down, you have something called as resource here. Okay, so now let's see what is the resource. Okay, so let's explore this. So how to do this? I'll just put some h2 here, and I'll again put this this thing, and I'm just doing resource. Okay, so if I just do this much, and if I refresh my page, okay, nothing comes up here, because you must remember one thing, which is HTL has the capability only to print the string data type. It cannot print the objects. It cannot show you the objects, because objects are non-printable, right? It cannot be printed. So if there is any text string, or if there is any string which is of the known data type to HTL, then it can print it. Okay, so now how do we know what is this resource currently? So if we just do resource here, what comes up here? How do we know it? Okay, so what do we need to do is, again, we need to see on which class this particular resource variable is based on. Okay, it is based upon this class, right? So you again Google about this class. Okay, so then you will get the description of this particular class. Okay, so you will open the description and you will see what all method names are there. Okay, you have a method name called getName, right? So copy this method name. Okay, just go into here and you say resource dot getName. Okay, so now this is the method, actual method. But if you have to access it from the HTL code, what you need to do? You first need to remove the get. You need to put the first letter as small. Then you need to remove the brackets and you save it. Okay, so now if you go and refresh your page, you will see the actual value. So what is the value printed? The value which is printed is profile. So what is this profile? Okay, so to understand that, we need to again follow our flow. What is our flow? How does the Sling framework execute this particular code? So first it will go into this content node, right? So it went into this content node. Okay, in CRX it went into this content node. Then it opened this container and here is the profile component and this has the Sling resource type. So it goes to this path, and in this path it finds the HTML code and it opens this HTML code and it ran this HTML code and it gave you this output, right? So if this is the flow, then the entire flow started from this resource, which is profile, right? So here is where it found the location of the code. So what is your resource currently? This is the resource. So what is the name of this? Profile. So that is what is getting printed here. Okay, so to test this, let's change this name to profile123. Okay, and let's save this. So I just changed this name from profile to profile123. So now if I just refresh this page, I'll get profile123. So now we understood what is this resource, right? So the resource is nothing but what is the current resource on which you are. That is what this variable contains. So anytime you get any doubt either for any of these variables, right, page or anything, so you just have to see if there is any get name method for that. Then you can debug, identify or understand what exactly is happening there. So now let's move on to the next thing. Okay, so the next thing is we need to get the request path. Okay, so this is one of the requirement that we need to show the request path in our UI. So how can we display this request path? Okay, so the request path will be part of the request, right? So we will scroll down and see if there is any request object for us. Okay, so we have the request object here. So this request object is based upon this class. Okay, right? So we just go to this class and find out what all methods are available for us. Okay, so this is the class. So let's go into that class and see what all methods are there. Okay, is there any method for us to get the request path? Here I see a method which is get Sling request path info. So let's see if we can use this method. Okay, so I'll just copy this method. Okay, I will just go here and just let me close this and let me open a p tag, and then I will say request. This is the global variable which I have, and then get path info. But to access the method, what I need to do? I first need to remove this get. I need to remove this r, put the small r, and in the end I need to remove the brackets. Okay, so I will do this, and now if I just refresh the page and I will test if this is coming up. Okay, nothing came up. It is because if we go back and see in our class, right? So this is our get request path info. What is this returning? We have to see the return type. So if you see the description here, it says this returns the class. Okay, this returns an object. Okay, so the data type, the return type of this method is not a string, it is an object, right? As I told earlier also, HTL cannot print the objects. What it can print is string, int, or any of the known data types to it. Okay, since this is unknown data type, this is an object, Sling will not be able to print it. Okay, so now let us see what all methods are there in this particular object. Okay, so just I will just open it in a new tab. So this is another class Okay, if I just scroll down and see what all methods are available here, then here I have get resource path. So this will give me the actual resource path. So now somehow I need to use this method. But how can I use this method? Because I have only this global variable, right? So now what we need to do is we need to use something called as set. Okay, this we have seen in our previous videos, right? Data slice set. Okay, this is used to set a particular variable name. Okay, so now here I will say path info equal to, and I will put this entire thing in here. So here what I am doing is I am calling this method, right, request path info, which is part of the request class. Okay, so then it returns the request path info object, right? That object I am putting it into this variable. That is what I am doing here. So then what I will do is, so now what is the data type of this path info? It is same as whatever this get request path info is returning, right? Because this is the method I am using. So what is its return type? Request path info, right? And in this request path info, I have get resource path method. So I can use this method, which is of the data type, return data type string. Okay, so now that is what I am going to do. Okay, so here what I'll say simply is path info dot, okay, and then I will use this method because path info is of data type this request path info. Okay, so I'll just copy this. So now again for the method call, what I need to do, I just need to remove this get. I need to replace this first letter with small r, and then I need to remove the parenthesis. So I just save this, and if I refresh this, here you see the path. So just to recap what has happened, first we have used this global variable whichever is given by the slightly, and then we have called a particular method in this particular class, okay, which is the request class. Okay, I have a method called request path info. Okay, but the return type of this request path info is not a string, so HTL will not be able to print it. So what I have done is I have put this request path info into a variable. Okay, now this variable is of the data type, which is the return type of this particular method, right? So now, so in that particular return type, I have another method called resource path. Okay, I have used this resource path, and this resource path, get resource path, this return data type is a string. So now this string, it is able to print it. Okay, so that is what is printed here. Now if you see this path, right, what is the path which is given to you? It is nothing but this resource path. Whatever our current resource is, which is our component, so that resource path is what is being printed here. Okay, so this is the way you use the global variables. That's it for today, and the other things we'll take up in our next video.